You know, when you hear a term like open source intelligence, your mind probably jumps to, I don't know, hackers in hoodies and super complex code, right? But what if I told you it's less about hacking and way more about being a detective? It's really a systematic way of finding information that's already out there, just hiding in plain sight. So let's dive in and start the journey.
At its heart, OSINT is all about taking publicly available data, I'm talking social media posts, news articles, public records, you name it, and turning it into something useful, something actionable. Because it's not just about what you can find, it's about what that information actually allows you to do.
And that transformation, it's a really crucial three-step process. See, you start with raw data, just a bunch of facts and figures. Then you process that into information by adding some context. But the real goal, the final step, is to analyze all of that to create intelligence. That's the stuff that helps you solve the case or achieve a specific goal. This right here is the core of any investigation.
So here's our game plan. We're going to walk through the journey an OSINT investigator takes, piece by piece. We'll start with the basics, figure out our mission, gather some data, connect the dots, check out some advanced moves, and then wrap up with the most important part of all, the mindset.
All right, first up, let's talk about the art of finding. This isn't just about Googling stuff. It's a real discipline. And the foundational concept that underpins everything we're going to talk about is that idea of transforming raw data into powerful intelligence. Now, it is so tempting to just jump right in and start searching for things. But the pros, they know that every single successful investigation has to start with a really clear, focused question.
So what is your objective? I mean, are you a journalist trying to uncover a hidden story? Maybe a cyber defender protecting your company? Or a PI trying to track someone down? Your end goal changes everything. It tells you what sources to trust, which tools to grab, and, maybe most importantly, how to filter out all the noise. Without a clear mission, you're not investigating, you're just kind of surfing the web.
Okay, so you've got your mission locked in. Now it's time to cast that net and start pulling in those first few pieces of raw data. This is the recon phase.
Okay, check this out, because this slide completely demolishes the idea that one search engine is all you need. This is a real-world example. A search on Google for military intelligence leaks, specifically PDFs from 2020, gives you just 4 results. 4. The exact same search on Yandex, you get pages and pages of results. The lesson here is huge. Diversify your searches. Never, ever rely on just one source.
And I love this quote from the Cyber Mentor. It just perfectly illustrates the power of mastering the search itself. Becoming a great researcher isn't just some niche skill, it's fundamental. It's a skill that pays off in pretty much any field you can think of.
Look, the world of OSINT tools is vast. I mean, it's honestly overwhelming. You could fill up a hard drive just with tools. But here's the secret. It's not about the individual tools. It's about the methodology. So you need to think in categories. Are you doing some advanced searching? Are you profiling a person or a company? Analyzing social media? This approach helps you pick the right type of tool for the job.
So gathering all that data is one thing, but making sense of it? That's where the real magic happens. This is the part where we take all that raw info and turn it into a picture that actually makes sense. This quote from David Bombal is everything. It's really the pivot point of this whole explainer. See, anyone can learn to click a button and run a tool. But a real investigator, they master the techniques. Tools will change, websites will go down, apps will become obsolete. But the methods, the techniques are timeless.
And the most fundamental technique of all is called pivoting. The idea is simple. You find one piece of information, a username, an email, whatever, and you use that to launch your search for the next piece of the puzzle. Each new discovery becomes a new pivot point, letting you branch out and build this incredible spider's web of connections.
And this is a perfect example of pivoting in action. In a real case, an investigator had to figure out where this one blurry photo was taken. They didn't just stare at it, they broke it down. They saw a shisha pipe on a table. Okay, what does that tell you? It's probably a shisha bar or a lounge. Then they spot this unique, curvy roof with neon lights. That's a great architectural clue. Even tiny details, like the handles of a sliding door or the reflection of a weirdly bent 20-mile-per-hour sign, were used as pivot points, and by connecting all these separate little dots, they were able to pinpoint the exact location. It's brilliant.
So, now that we get the idea of connecting the dots, let's level up and explore some more advanced methods, the kind that uncover data you're just not going to find with a simple search. Okay, let's get a little more technical. Let's say you're looking for an address on a public registry, but you need a date of birth to look it up.
You have the name, but not the year. Instead of sitting there guessing every single year manually, an investigator can automate it. They can use a tool to send hundreds of requests, one for every possible year. Now, here's the clever part. The server's response for every wrong guess will be identical, a small access denied page. But the one successful request will return a much bigger page with the actual address. That size difference, that anomaly, is the signal. That's the answer.
And there are just so many ways to find these pivot points. An investigator might pull hidden data or metadata out of a public PDF to find the author's real email. They can search through massive data breaches to pivot from that email and find a phone number. They can even use tools to check hundreds of websites all at once to see everywhere a specific username appears, building that web of connections even wider.
So after all of this, after all the tools and techniques, we finally arrive at the most important part. OSINT is not a list of websites. It's not a folder full of apps. It's a mindset. It's a way of thinking.
The best investigators out there, they live by these principles. They will always prioritize their techniques over their tools. They build redundancy, so if one source goes down, they have 4 others ready to go. They document absolutely everything, often using mind maps to visualize the connections and stay on track. And, above all else, they are persistent and they are creative, always looking for that one clever link that's going to solve the puzzle.
We've spent this whole time looking at how investigators find information on other people. And that leaves us with one final and kind of important question. If someone were to apply these same methodologies to you, what story would your digital breadcrumbs tell?